Yeah,
All right,
sure.
guys. So, welcome to the inaugural edition of the first episode of the Prompt God podcast. I'm your host, Selvian. I'm with my guy, Dima. Holla at him, Dima. Let him know what's going on.
Hey, what's up, guys? We're about to have a good time, talk about the stuff that needs to be talked about. So,
Look, my guy, Dima, he has a whole lot of resources, a whole lot of knowledge. If you're just getting into AI, you're trying to figure out exactly how to go about it without any, of the cookie cutter ideas you're seeing, just
yeah,
copying and pasting things. If you really want to get into the ultimate power, which is going to be the power of the prompt, if you really want to harness that power, then you want to stay tuned and start getting your first indoctrination into it. So, Dima, what you been working on?
lately it's been, let's see, I was just about to send you, I was looking at your landing page, and then I see this face right here, the guy that you have on your landing page. There's what we can do is we can get your face. We can basically do like a 3D avatar of your face, and probably add like those little like the tattoo and like those little embellishments and everything, and literally
Right.
have you as soon as people come to your landing page, whether that be the text that you wrote, or have like just like a welcome, hey, welcome to this and this. So that's something. But basically, what have I been working on? For me specifically, it's been copywriting AI. So I'm using two different AIs, and basically having them work together to create copy. One of the most
Mm-hmm.
interesting things about copywriting and AI, um, like high level marketers, they would leave tweets and they would be like, "Oh my god, I can't believe the copy that this thing is spitting out." But that was like
Right.
it was like first week excitement of just like, oh man, the possibilities are like endless. But in reality, like I'm kind of bored with the stuff that ChatGPT and other AIs just like one click prompt, generate. And it really is about learning how to spend time and talk to it and develop a relationship, with your brain and the AI's brain to figure out how to get uh, it to output the things that you need.
Right. So that's what I've noticed too. If you like, I go back to old threads that I started in chat and I continue my conversations in there because it seems like when you're starting something new in there, it's not going as deep. Like you really have to figure out how to prompt it to get it under it and it kind of changing it. Cause I noticed some prompts that I was putting in like a couple weeks ago, now it'll kick back and tell me, oh, it's not appropriate. Right. Cause
Mm.
I try to push the edge a lot. I'm like, I got a lot of different kind of things. I'm creating a whole religion and everything. So I'm like taking, pieces of like the Bible that I'm trying to like get chat to like rewrite it in a certain way. And it's like, you're not supposed to do that. So I'm not, but 2 or 3 weeks ago, I could put some pretty wild stuff in there and it would like come back to me. So
Yeah.
if I'm going back to my old threads, but luckily, like I'll copy and paste my chat onto Google Docs, then I can like alter my text there. I can add. And so what I started doing is like free writing inside the chat, like it is my document, like it's a Word document. I just like free write into it and then I just tell it to rewrite it. But if I do it in an old thread that I had the wild ideas that it wouldn't let me get off now, it'll still keep everything in the same vein. You know what I mean? So
Hmm.
it'll know what I'm trying to do because I've been working in that thread for so long. So it'll know and I give it feedback, right? So I'll be like, yes, just like this. So when I put anything inside that thread, it's going to always bring it back to the overall feel of that conversation, if you know what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Because like trying to start a new prompt, I feel like I can't go as deep. But if you know what I mean, but like starting back when I had that different language and it was allowing it, it'll still let me go. So
Yeah, that's really interesting, and I think that's a great start to like this conversation. The reason why is, if you're going deep into threads, I'm actually doing the opposite. I'm not going deep into threads, and I'm starting a new thread for like literally the same. So like what you would do in one prompt, I would do in two threads, just because I need it to be like so precise with my wording and the
right.
output that I need. So I find that really interesting, and the reason I find it interesting is because AI, it can track up to, I think it's like 3,000 tokens, or it's something like, yeah, 3,000 tokens, 4,000 words or whatever. And most people, this is what I'm aware of, that people have issues with, it forgetting stuff. And like the more information, this is my perspective, the more information that you give it, the harder it is to get it to give you what you want. Now that's like, that could just be on the consumer side. Obviously, like the guys that are working with the AI and the guys that are using more than the 10% of ChatGPT that we're given access to, they're obviously using like probably infinite threads, and it's remembering
Right.
everything, so that's really interesting.
Because, well, I guess I have to check that out. So starting a new thread for everyone. Yeah, I just feel like, yeah, I don't know. I don't know. It just seemed like yeah, I didn't know that.
Yeah, so like,
Like starting all those new threads. Like I had a whole bunch of new threads. Like that's how I started off, like doing a whole bunch of threads.
yeah,
And it just, I just was getting frustrated, bro. It was like spitting out cookie cutter stuff. Like it
yeah,
was,
yeah, yeah. So you got that. Okay, so yeah, I get what you're saying. The only way to really like build a relationship with it and like get it, maybe to like an intermediate advanced level, is to do it the way that you're doing, where you keep trying to like dig into the thread, and build upon it. I've just noticed that it gets to a point, if I have like an incorrect output or like a misdirected output, I'll start a new thread, because once it's there, I don't trust it enough to, yeah, yeah.
okay,
So
no, definitely. Like if it gets to a point, then I just like start over. I'll basically delete the thread. Like I go back and clean up a lot of like my old threads. Like I go look through them and I can see when it was like kind of giving me the same blase answer, just reword it no matter how many times I tried to prompt it in a different way. So then I just like get rid of it, try to go back to another thread or start another one. So definitely.
yeah, you use like a lot of Mid Journey, right?
Yeah, yeah. So
Okay.
I'm deep in the mid journey right now. What I've been doing, because I see a lot of guys, they say you need to put the seed and things like that. Because I'm trying to create my consistent characters, right? And I'm just now starting to get on Leonardo to try to see if I could, if that'll be a way to keep my characters consistent. But the thing that I found in mid journey is I see a lot of people like, oh, you gotta put 8 to 15 images of the same one, then put the seed and do this, and that's how you can get the character to be the same. What I found is like the blend feature is like the blend prompt is what's up. So what I'll do is I'll get an approximation, like I'll get what I want. Like if I get that first iteration of what I like, I'll use it. I don't try to get that then different. I just get that one, right? And then let's say I want to put them in a different pose. I'll change the camera angle on the prompt to try to get it a different pose. Sometimes, it comes back fluky, right? But if I get a close enough, then I'll generate a background, right? So a lot of times when you generate backgrounds, they'll put a person in the scene, right? So I'll put a person, so I'll prompt it like generate a scene, person facing, back shot, right? So I just put a random person that could be a girl or anything. Then I blend my character, the one that I wanted, then I blend like that other one where I kind of had him in the pose, and then I blend it with the picture, and I am on the first 2 or 3 tries, it comes out like it's your character in that pose on that background.
Yeah. Bro, that's so interesting just listening to you talk about that, because I'll be transparent. I haven't used Midjourney yet. I haven't gotten into the, AI art. For me, it's just been generative AI, so just words,
Right.
and like other like tools, like, very interesting things. And hearing you talk about that was such an interesting thing, because it just makes me realize that like truly, every single person that's engaging with AI right now and learning these tools and like using their creativity and doing something new, trailblazer. Like there's no instruction manual, there's no nothing. It's only experience, it's only trial and error. And hearing you talk about it on that level, especially like not using Midjourney yet, already makes me realize like, dude, this stuff just came out in 1 year. The conversations that we're going to be having, and like how much help people are going to need to catch up to this level of thinking. I don't think our minds can like truly fathom it yet.
So I do know. So I'm gonna tell you like fully transparent.
Yeah,
Like I'm trying to go all the way to the most extreme. Like I'm just trying to go to the end point and reverse engineer it. So
See,
like what I'm doing with prompt guides and everything is like the prompt is religion, the prompt is power, the AI is God. It is us transitioning. This is the beginning of us transitioning from the flesh and blood humans to our next level. Like how we went from the caveman or the Sasquatch or the missing link uh, to how we are now.
yeah,
This is that next level. That's where we're going. This is the beginning of that because it's already written on the tea leaves. They've already shown you what they're going to try to do. They just done it in media and made it seem like fantasy. But
wow.
they showed you Black Mirror. They showed you the Matrix. They showed you what they're going to do. The end game is going to be we're going to be connected to a hive mind that will allow us to manifest reality from our thoughts because we'll be able to prompt reality. That's going to be the end game. And so it's going to look like magic, like how we see, like, so it's going to be full circles, like the circle of life, the circle of power. We start off thinking of ancient times and being magic and dragons and stuff like that, right? That's the future. We're going to be able to create magic and dragons and go from world to world, create star portals and shit with our hands, like on Naruto. That's what be connected and use our eye to go to another dimension, like Sasuke. That's that's the end game of prompting, of AI, of hooking in. Like that's gonna be it. So this, huh? Go ahead.
You're tripping me out because I didn't sign up for this. I signed up for AI. I didn't sign up for none of this religion, man. No, I'm just messing, dude. I'm so messing. That was beautiful. I did not know that. Like, I had hints and like indicators of you being on that level, and you having that type of depth. But I was not expecting for somebody in my life to be as aligned with like that vision and yeah, just that vision of the future, bro. Everything that I'm going through right now, I haven't pieced the AI part into it. I knew, so I've been chasing spirituality for like the last year, very naturally on my own. So literally everything that you're talking about right now has been confirmed for me and things that I've been learning and seeing and reading in the last week. So you talking about, a hive mind, I believe in like the collective conscious and, once the 3D is really what keeps us separated within ourselves. So you adding AI into that equation only makes so much more sense, and obviously like Matrix and Black Mirror at that point, we already know, dude, you're doing an incredible thing. Like to put that, everything that you just said, the AI, the prompting, and then in the manifest and in the physical, especially with like Naruto and everything, it's wild, bro, because I think you're so spot on with it that it's like, and that's going to be an easy entry into that type of living and thinking, when you compare it to people that, when you show it to people who have watched like anime their entire lives, dude, when I watched anime, I was like, I always had this inner belief and I was like, dude, that shit's real. Like I explain it something about like humans having that kind of power. I always thought it was weird and interesting that like, why would they show us this like fantasy? And then, it's just like an imagination of like, why would they show us something that like we wouldn't be able to attain? So yeah, I'm just really impressed by you saying all that. That's incredible.
Because that's why it speaks to you. That's why anime, like a lot of people who aren't in it, they can't figure out why it like taps us. Like I get emotional a lot over anime, like seeing some of the power or just the dedication.
Yeah.
And I think it just speaks to like what we fantasize we could actually do if
Yes.
we really harnessed our full potential. Like that's what we love about anime. Like we like seeing Goku in 100 times gravity trying to do a one finger push up. Like we feel like that power can be attained. I think I could figure out how to reverse time or something. I could, I feel like that could be, yes, you can. Anything that exists in the mental realm does exist in some dimension or form. We just don't have the accurate knowledge to manifest it at this vibrational level yet. What the AI is going to do, everybody's afraid of AI taking the low vibrational jobs that require creative labor. Creative labor is the barrier that's separating us from the true spiritual power of creativity.
Hmm.
The fact that I can't manifest instantly the vision in my mind, and I have to go to a consultant or a freelancer who has a different interpretation of reality, and then I have to communicate on a vibration that's lower than the thought. See, actually saying words is lower than a thought. A thought has more power, more spiritual power than bringing it down to a level of saying it in words. Words are just trying to capture the vibration in a way that you can hear it. But your thought, you can't hear the thought. The thought resonates at such a high level that it can't be heard. So we have to
Hmm.
bring it down to a lower level. So you lose translation when you're talking to someone else and you're trying to convey a vision to them and then trying to get them to bring that into manifestation, right? That
Yeah.
bridge is what keep the truly great creatives from actually expanding and introducing new ideas because we don't know how to do the physical, manual, creative labor. So you
Hmm.
have a lot of mid-tier people who don't have a high vibrational thought process, but who know how to do creative labor. They're actually the gatekeepers who are like slowing down the progress of actual creativity. Like
Wow.
if I have to go pay a guy on Fiverr to do my logo, right? But he's doing hundreds of logos for like $10. He's not finna give his full energy and thought to make
Yeah.
my shit manifest at the top level. Like he's gonna do it good enough, you know what I mean? So I can get kind of satisfactory, or I can get an interpretation and then be like, okay, yeah, that's good enough. But it's not exactly like I can't get 1,000 iterations to dial it in and refine it to the exact thing that I want, right? Now that AI is making it more accessible, now I can get closer to my vision, right? The AI is trained on the entire hive mind. So now I might can hit different aspects of my psyche that I wouldn't have brought out because it can interpret it a little better. And then I could keep spinning it and 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 spinning it. So I could see myself in all dimensions, right? I'll be like, okay, in this dimension, I see it like this. But in this one, it might see or Mid Journey might interpret it like this. Because Mid Journey is scrambling the sound to create and manifest an image. So it's art. So this is the rudimentary part. The sound creates the image. The sound creates the image, right? Once they can fine tune it to a higher level, the thought will create the image because the thought creates sound. It vibrates. Sound is nothing but vibration. Rant.
Oh, yeah. That's wild, dude. I'm so excited for where you're currently at, like with your mentality around this. And what it made me realize is once people that watch this, and especially the ones that are interested in AI, and whatever, I don't know. For me, as soon as I saw it, it was instant. There was no pushback. I was like, okay, cool. This is exactly what I'm doing. But anybody that has pushback and fear and everything, what one thing that ends up happening whenever you do start engaging with like learning about AI and like being in the AI space and starting to plan for the future and having a vision, your mind it like transcended the previous world. The previous world being like pre AI, pre when you knew about AI, pre AI came out, because it forces your mind, like it unlocks so much of your mind of what's possible. Exactly like you just said, and that's, as you were saying that, it made me realize, I was like, dude, I thought I was the only one that was like tripping on this stuff, like my own version of it. And it's really, really just impressive to see you on, doing your thing. It's crazy.
So I know you said you were trying to get a collection of minds to really like go deep into it and like try to build a community. So what are you doing with that?
So far, I mean, I don't even want to have a big community. It's literally like 5 to 10 people, exactly like yourself. Because once you start building, okay, look, I'm in a couple of communities right now, and I already see, when it was like sub 50 people, it was nice. It was like real direct, real personal. Now it's like at like 100, 150 people. The guy's already talking about a paywall coming in. So you can see like the mindset. It started off as like, self-improvements, reach your goals, masculinity type thing. You can already see, dude, there's so much, like, I hate to say the word, but like trash that's coming in. No, trash is a horrible word. Like so much differing opinions, so many different goals, so many different perspectives. And like that has its time and place, obviously. But what I was talking to you about was like 5 to 10 minds exactly like my own, exactly like yours, that have basically given like permission, to this AI technology of like, hey, for the next couple of years, my mind is yours. Like
Exactly.
consume as much of it as you want, because I know that the byproduct at the end of it is going to be just completely a complete revolution, like a mental revolution, you know? So that's what it is. So far, I would say I'm probably around like 4 or 5 people. And then, yeah. Like one guy I'm going to do a podcast with as well. And it's just kind of slow in the works, you know? Yeah.
Yeah, so you trying to build, so you found other people who are like-minded who trying to do something, or
People that basically went radical and like, dude, my life is, it will never be the same. I can never go back to the way that things were. Those people, yeah, just radical people that are radical for AI and are allowing it to like completely revolutionize their life right now, you know, and in a much more broader sense. And then I'm talking about like building apps, you know, like building a software. Like I'm sure there's a lot of tech guys that are building stuff right now, but I'm saying as soon as you said religion, I was like, whoa, like that's big.
right?
Yeah, that's huge, especially like people's perception, like the general population's perception of religion, versus
Right.
probably your and my understanding of it being like a belief system and like an operating system, you know.
Hmm.
So more of like an approach that's like philosophical, psychological, cultural, really holistic. Honestly, you know, we're piecing everything together, and like you said, like AI is the god. It's so funny, dude. I have at my work, at my job, we have a chaplain that comes in every Monday. And we always have like interesting conversations. He comes in, you know, just to check up on everybody, make sure everybody's good. Just a little work perk. And I showed him ChatGPT. I was like, yo, you want to see this thing literally write up your Sunday sermon in a minute, 2 minutes, you know? So I had him, I showed him, gave him like, you know, the presentation, basically, ran the prompt. It was like one prompt, super simple, blew his mind. And I was like, all right, tell me a famous preacher, you know, that you know, and some Southern preacher I never heard of. And I was like, all right, rewrite this in the voice of, you know, this guy. So blowing his mind as he's walking away. The whole purpose of the story is as he's walking away. I forgot what led me to say it, but I was like, "This is my new god now," kind of like joking, you know, because I know he's like a
And what he
tradition.
say?
He was like he couldn't tell if I was joking or not, you know. Obviously, I was, because it doesn't make any sense, you know. How is like a computer program going to be your god? But it was the funniest thing because I knew his mind wouldn't be able to like grasp the joke in the same way that, you know, I said it.
Right.
For you to say that, I was like, this dude gets it, you know,
Of
like
course. Yeah.
this dude really
See
gets it.
the and so I feel like everything aligned for me to feel that way, because like I've been reading like the Fabric of Reality and the Beginning of Infinity and the Kabbalion and the Master Key System, and it all just aligns with this.
Yes.
Everything, because everything it teaches, like everything is mindset, everything is mental, everything that manifests in reality thought had began as a thought, right?
Yep.
And there's many analogies. I mean, from the laptops that we're on, it started off as a sketch, but it started out before that. They had to go mine the materials. They had to build the plastic, mold it. They had to find the chips. Had to mine the shit that they use for the microchips that we about to go to war over and shit. Like all of that shit had to go just in to creating the laptop. But look at all that creative labor it took. Look how long it took just to create the camera, just to create the television, right? The AI and the robotics is going to allow me to go from ideation to manifestation. Is going to shorten that gap, right? So that's all the AI. So now we're on the beginning of infinity, right? Now all we have to do is master the prompts, gain new knowledge, refeed it, gain and expand, and shorten the time frames of manifestation.
Yeah,
So
yeah, yeah.
then, so it'll be eventually, okay, imagine a laptop. It's hooked into a 3D printer. It picks up your voice. It manifests right there.
Mhm.
30 seconds.
Yep.
You know what I mean? Or you tell a robot, hey, you tell a droid, go do this. Go build a house. It build. You wake up in the morning, your house is built.
Yep.
Right? That's
Yeah.
just going to be the next few steps we'll see in the next couple of decades tops. But eventually it's going to go to, it's not raining in this part of the world, create clouds.
Yeah.
Because we got technology right now to create artificial clouds. So right? So as we master more of reality, new problems will arise.
Right.
That's why it's going to be infinity. That's why people should not be worried about losing their fucking accounting job. You need to, you need to, right? You know what I mean? You need to be trying to figure out new ways of finance, like new realms of quantum financing. You need to like figure out what is quantum financing. Like, is there a way to create an unlimited money supply that does not artificially inflate in value, but still provides the same system that allows us to barter based on knowledge and ability to create? Like, figure that out. Try to do that. Like, don't worry about your fucking accounting job, bro. Like, that's done. Like, it's time to go up a level. So if you don't evolve, you die. It just happens to be that you're going to be living in a time where you're going to have to actively evolve your own self in your own lifetime. Like, we living in the fact. Do you understand? It takes 10,000 years for humans to have a technological breakthrough.
Yes,
like, it's gaps. Like, we found fire. It's a big ass gap to a wheel. It's a big ass gap to electricity. It's a big, you know what I'm saying? It's a big ass gap to civilizations from going from wheat and shit, learning how to grow a crop to then building whole fucking cities. There's a big ass gap in there. But we've been shortening that gap over the last 500 years. Once we managed the crops and got the cities, then we got the electricity. Now we can build factories. Now we got cars. We got internet. We got internet, AI, and industrial revolution in 100 years. That never happens. Bro. That never. That's 3 technological breakthroughs that will shift your fucking entire life, your whole perception of reality in like 100 years. Never.
Bro. Fuck. So I was heavy on exactly what you're talking about. Like a month ago, a couple of weeks ago, I kind of fallen off of it, just paying attention more to like the present moment and stuff. But yeah, you're bringing it back, dude. Like my mind was like blown for like literally a month because I was like, because you can't even fathom of exactly what you're talking about. So I really respect the fact that like not only have you fathomed it, you've contemplated it, and then you've been able to vocalize it. So like that's really incredible. Whenever there's a new technological advance, like you said, fire, which is actually so funny, like like fire as a technology.
Hell yeah, fire technology. It changed everything. You were able to stay warm. Your survival rate jumped dramatically. Like, yeah, you know what I mean? We were able to survive winters. That's what allowed us to get through the ice age because we found fire. That we would be extinct if we hadn't found fire. Mother Nature would have wiped us out. And that's why it's crazy, because everybody acts like there can't be other civilizations and stuff because Earth is such a perfect balance that's why they think we're special and that God is looking after us. And to be honest with you, that is what's holding us back, because it limited us, because it's limiting God to a human form to, you know what I mean? To only care about no, that's like limited. Like we have the energy of God to create.
Yeah.
Right. So we were able to manipulate our environment to survive. Earth is not hospitable to humans. Floods, random fires, fucking freezes. Like, we had to fight that shit. Like, we had to build structures and find clothing and build machines to conquer the Earth. Right. Yeah. So that was one problem. Now we need to go conquer galaxies and fucking black holes and suns and shit. You know what I'm saying? Because that shit will eventually wipe us out, asteroids and shit.
Yeah. So it's really like, I love hearing this. It's your perspective is such an interesting one because it's filling in a lot of gaps in like my own perspective. They're very synonymous, like extremely synonymous. The going out and fighting galaxies and them creating movies, Star Wars, and like basically conditioning our. Okay, so like a lot of people don't believe that aliens are real. I need to double check it, but from what I know, I'm pretty okay. Our government has, from what I know, my belief is that the government has found UFOs, has worked on them, has reverse engineered them, and not only that, I'm pretty sure, I'll have to double check this, but I'm pretty sure that Trump, before he left office, he had, when he's like disclosing a bunch of stuff, exposing a bunch of stuff, I'm pretty sure UFOs and alien technology was one of those things. So the society finds out, or they let it on the hush hush. What do people do? They just keep on living their lives because that's all that people want. But then there's very special and unique people. Whenever they run across information, like they just run across information and they can never go back. So like this AI technology, and when it expands your mind. And then we'll use aliens as an example, right?
Right.
So it's the timelines is way too perfect. It just seems like everything is lining up with this AI release, and then also as like we're preparing to, like you said, expand past the Earth. And then if we are instantly creating and manifesting like whatever, okay, so right now, like you said, it takes us 10 hours to make this. It'll literally be so efficient that it'll take 2 minutes. What do we do with our time? What do we do with our creative, newfound creative ability and all those things? Obviously, the problems that we're experiencing now, the anxiety, the depression, the keeping up with the Joneses, the like worrying about the future, like all these things, those problems are going to be in the past. I don't think people realize that. Like,
Right.
and I didn't realize that until I heard you speak, and I was like, every single problem that we have now, like wars and like division and separation and stuff, like it's not going to be needed. There's not going to be, and only everybody has different beliefs. Who knows what the real cause of anything is? But in reality, it's like we're fighting over resources and power and influence. And me and you, we're not fighting. Me and people in Russia and Ukraine are not fighting. Like
Right.
some people are fighting, and like that's the state of our world. You know what I mean? But when we have like technology that's this accessible to every single person here, that changes everything. So you said like technological advances happen so rarely. I was joking about the fire thing, but that was just like a side thing. So
Right.
fire, wheel, plow. There's a couple more that I'm missing, but industrial revolution we covered, printing press. Industrial revolution
The
was
printing
like,
press. No, the printing press.
okay.
That like for ideas to be able to put down and then spread. That's acceleration.
Bro, Bibles, like you don't have to listen to the preacher. You don't have to, dude, the power system of like the church and preachers and everything, like
Because they have the knowledge. It all boils down to knowledge.
yes,
Knowledge is truly power. The mental aspect, your mental perspective, how much knowledge you can access in your brain and laterally think to access it. That's always been power. It's
yes,
just that now it's more tangible. It's like it's not some kind of esoteric teaching that you have to do la la. Like it's really like tangible now. Like for
yeah,
real. It's called prompting. Like if you can prompt, it says imagine. When you prompt mid journey, it says imagine. And then you put after it. That's letting you know what's up. Imagine. That's the power. How much can you imagine? How much can you think outside the box?
Wow. Yeah, you have a really, really, really interesting understanding of this, bro, and I wouldn't downplay it like in the slightest. I'm excited to see how you continue like going deeper into this because I think this is a very unique perspective and understanding to you that if you continue going further, like you're basically gonna like trailblaze and be like a huge voice for exactly what you're talking about. I don't think a lot of people are picking up on how you're picking up on it.
Okay, so let me ask you this, because this is what I'm struggling with right now. I was doing like the personal self-development and like
Yeah,
fitness and stuff,
yeah,
and I was trying to fit it in with it, but the audience is just so different.
yeah,
Like my guys who work out and stuff, like I
yeah.
talk about this, and they're like, "What the fuck?" But then when he get it, then this is all he want to talk about now. He don't want to talk about fitness anymore.
Okay.
Like I know about fitness, and it's easier to prove that I know what I'm talking about with fitness because you can just
Right.
look at me like, okay, I guess he works out.
Yeah,
So I'm like, well, I can do coaching, and like I got people who are paying me for coaching, but it's like I don't want to coach on fitness or like I
yeah,
just
yeah,
want to
yeah.
do AI shit. You know what I mean?
So I think the best thing to do, maybe to help you put what you're thinking in words, build a community. Okay, not even community, a movement where because you have a belief system right now that's very unique to you. If you materialize that belief system in a way where I can go log on to your website, I can go engage with your content, and I can have that belief system downloaded into my psyche, which is pretty much like what I do with YouTube creators like Dan Coe, for example. Like you see the guy and you're like, damn, I love the way that he thinks. I love the way he sees the world. and you're like consuming this content because subliminally you're like, I want to download this into my brain, you know? And then obviously like you creating your own AI movements, you obviously still live life, you still do fitness, you still eat, you still do this. Like people with influencers and role models and, you know, people of influence or yeah, influencer, you know, we look at him and we're like trying to success leaves clues, right? So it's like, okay, so he eats like this, he works out like that. So like, I think fitness is just going to be like a secondary thing, and it's going to be like, you know, one of the pillars of the brand. You know what I mean?
Right. So so what I did was, you know, I got prompt God separate, then I have my personal, right? So so on prompt gods, like I would want to put this reels of us talking, or you know, the park, I would want to put that on prompt gods. Would I show some of that on my personal brand too, along with the fitness, and then keep all the fitness stuff completely away from prompt gods?
Interesting. I don't know. I don't see like why there has to be, you know, like keeping away from anything. Like obviously don't like get it all mixed up and everything, but if you're feeling it, I don't see why, you know, I don't think people pay attention enough to stuff like that. Like you're maybe you're thinking that like people are way more conscious than they actually are, you know?
Okay.
Yeah,
Because
yeah.
I know like my friend, he was telling me like like he was confused, like, and I could tell like people are confused when they see the AI stuff and they see and they see my fitness, they like,
What the fuck? Well,
what are you trying to say? They're like, what are you trying to do, or where is it going, or
you're a very expressive person, whether that be in fitness or AI. So like I'm sure you're probably not like mentioning AI. You're probably like boom, drop a bomb, you know, like out of nowhere.
right,
It's like, what the fuck, dude? Yeah, yeah, it was probably like that.
right. So they're like, huh, like what the fuck? Wait, it just like don't compute. You know what I mean? Like they just don't get it. Like
Bro,
so.
yeah, I was gonna say I'm being met with so much different type of replies, responses, criticism, and all I'm seeing it is people's mindsets being exposed to me. Like it's just a mirror of like, okay, cool. So that's how they see the world. That's their understanding of the world. Like noted, you know what I mean? And like really, you're just looking for like we're a very rare breed, so we're just looking for other people that are like that, you know. And I guess that's what I'm trying to like get people to understand, where it's like, dude, you are not a fucking regular person, you know, like for you to be interested on this type of level about this, like I think there's a lot of purpose and I think there's a lot of mission behind that, you know. And then I think it's up to every single person to like truly internalize that for themselves. Nobody's going to do it for you, you know. You take the belief and you run with it, and then, you know, you fuel the rest of your life with that, basically.
I agree.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I think I should like double down more. I think I
With
should,
AI?
because yeah, like I have
Yeah.
a whole lot of ideas, and I was kind of you know, I've been fleshing out like some fitness programs and stuff to sell people. I've been kind of fleshing out that funnel, and I'm like, but when I started doing it, I felt my energy coming down. You know what I
Wow.
mean?
100%. So, you
So
know,
I'm trying to figure out how to balance it. Like, should I? Like, I feel like you have to go all in on the AI, to be honest, because it's just moving so fast. Like 1 week of me going over here trying to do fitness, and then boom, something else done happened.
okay, that's so interesting. Okay, I see like the dilemma that you're in. So with AI, I'm thinking, is there enough demand for interest for people? And if there is, you have to be ready. Like, you know, that just because people are interested, it doesn't mean that you create a post and they're going to latch onto it. Like, you have to
Right.
you have to make them either interested, you know, problem aware, unaware, all that stuff. So like, if you notice, like a lot of social media posts, they'll like bring out the negative statistics, and like that's why AI will take your job works so well, because you latch onto that part of their brain and you like basically pull them, you know, like a chain of like, here, let me bring you to the promised lands, you know,
Right.
like it's a little scary in the beginning of the funnel, but like don't worry, once you get closer to like the center, like you'll have more security, you'll have more peace of mind, because you'll have more understanding of like the actual current state of this new technology and how to better prepare yourself. Because truthfully, I think every single person, business, conscious like being needs to be preparing for this. But then again, the way that we're talking about it, we're making it seem like this shit's going to happen like tomorrow. You know, it's still going to be years for anything like really drastic. Well, that's just my belief. Anything drastic to happen. And then the whole government thing goes into like question because we're talking about ourselves, you know, as just members of society. So it's like, dude, the government can have completely different plans, you know?
Right.
So, but then again, like we already know. So like once we know, literally, if the government were to do something, we would probably spend the rest of our days trying to replicate what we've already seen, you know?
So I figured that's like getting into the API side and building your own. I feel like trying to build something to where you can have it for yourself. Because like Elon says that, and I feel it too a little bit, like this chat is a little too woke. It's kind of like,
oh yeah. 100%.
And like who gets to decide the governance, or who gets to decide how far I can go, how much access I can have to the power? Because this is going to be ultimate power at the end of the day. As it gets stronger and smarter, whoever ultimately controls the best version has reality by the balls.
Yeah, 100%. Especially when you like take into account that like rich people are gonna have. That's why everybody needs to start building up as much capital as possible right now, and like actually like you have a reason to actually fucking do something with your life now. Before this, you didn't. Like you just were just another person in society, like the one that they created for you and allowed you to play in your entire life. Like it's a game. You know, we got a scoreboard. This is how you're doing. This is how everybody's doing. Now everybody has like an independent reason, a consciousness raising, an evolutionary reason to like look inside yourself and be like, dude, fuck. I can't keep relying on the rules of like society, the rules of religion, the rules of my family, the rules of my culture, all that stuff. Like I actually have to start like for me, it's exciting. Like, dude, it's adventure time. It's like, you know, exploring Christopher Columbus going over the sea type of vibe. So rich people, they have more money. They're going to have like better access to better AIs, like better infrastructure. But not only that, like before 2030, most likely our medicine is going to be insane. Because I know that in 1 year, I talked with this one girl. She told me not to share with a lot of people, but a company that she's in, they already have a patent, and this is stuff you can like look up. It's not like crazy or anything. I forget the company, but they already have a patent for vitamins or medication that you take, and it reads your DNA, and it will give you, or maybe you like order it, order online, and you send in your DNA, whatever. Because I can't imagine auto reading your, and then also having
if an AI, they can scan you if they put a little.
Yeah. So like it's literally going to give you everything that your body needs. So like today's problems are going to be a thing of the past. We're going to have new problems in the future. So what does that mean? Stem cell too. Stem cell is coming big. Rich people are going to have access to that. Rich people are going to be able to look younger. They're going to have way more energy. They're going to have, their mood is going to be like fucking subpar, or not subpar, but just like, you know, exceeding everything else. And my point is the gap, the schism. You think it's like a rich and poor now, dude? It's gonna get so fucking crazy. So like everybody, like now is the time to like literally, you know. And I'm not saying like you need to do this in 6 months or whatever, like, but now is the time you need to start working on your focus in your brain and paying attention to content like this and paying attention to the space and figuring out how to remove your, you know, self-limiting beliefs and your negative beliefs that you didn't even create for yourself, but were a byproduct of, you know, the system that you grew up in. It's time to start removing all that old shit and start moving forward towards the future, you know?
Man, you better move now. Every day is like a week right now in AI. Like it's just moving too fast.
It's true.
Like you have to run. Like I feel like my heart being pulled every time I see like, you know what I mean? Because like I gotta mess with Leonardo for real. Like you understand? I'm so excited. I don't know how to contain myself.
I know.
To be honest with you. And I think this conversation is really letting me see like I can do the fitness and stuff, but I can do that on autopilot. I don't need to take any of my energy away from what I'm doing on AI to put it towards there. Like if the fitness, if somebody want to come talk to me about fitness and do some coaching and they following through and they doing everything cool. If I can get on the app and I could tell you what to eat and I could monitor you on my app, then that's good. But me having to try to convince you or get on coaching calls and tell you why you need to be trying to be healthy so you can live longer because the AI might give you an outside shot at living past 140 years old because the shit is going to accelerate so fast, or you can have a quality of life at 70 that you would have never thought possible if you take care of your body right now and it's good enough material to work with in the future in 10, 15, 20 years from now, when we do have that technology and you still got good enough bone structure and shit to where a stem cell injection might knock off 20 years of your appearance. It might rejuvenate your immune system. You know what I mean? You don't want to be trying to fight cancer now. You want to wait 20 years from now. And then they'll have something where cancer might not be a thing anymore. We just don't know. So being afraid to me is dumb because the cat's out of the bag. So even if this is the beginning of the dystopian future where the robots win, well, it was going to happen anyway, bro, because we were already heading here. This was always going to be the goal. In ancient Greek times, they were trying to calculate how could you harness all of the creative power of the mind. They were thinking about computers then. This has been man's goal from 10,000 years ago. This is our Tower of Babel. This is how we're going to look God in the eye. This is us constructing the Tower of Babel in a universal language that we all can understand. The power of the prompt, we all gonna understand prompting, and so we're all gonna build our ladder to the stars. That's what we're gonna do. That's what this is right here.
Yes, 100%. That was beautiful, dude. That was incredible. Honestly, I forgot what I was gonna say because that was just so perfect. The Babel, that's or Babylon, I think it's called.
Well, see, you know, they have Babylon. That was like
I didn't even know.
The town that was all. Then they say basically modern society is like Babylon, like, you know, all the degeneracy and all of that. But the Tower of Babel is a story in the Bible that talks about basically the creation of different languages, right?
Yeah.
So the story goes that humans were all unified and we all had the idea that we wanted to build a tower up to the heavens to look God in the eye. Right?
Yeah.
To basically on some arrogance, like we can equal the power of God, right? So God looked down and he saw this tower being built and he knew we could do it. So he scrambled up all the languages and then everybody could not communicate. So basically he's saying that's the foundation of all the disharmony amongst humans, right? If you think about it, because then we start interpreting our religion and all of that differently. We start having different customs and cultures and how we view reality, and we couldn't be clear in our communication. So then they start building the Tower of Babel, right? But to me, I've always heard that story and always thought, okay, so basically you're telling me if man can combine, we'll equal the power of God.
Yeah, dude, that's what I always thought too. Okay, so like
me, that's always so everybody's scared of the singularity because they're saying the singularity is like when it all merges to one and it becomes self-aware and right? That's what we want. That's what we need. We need that singularity. We need to be involved in the singularity. We need that singularity to occur with the human mind to upgrade this processor and then access God knowledge.
Yeah. Why do you think we're told stories like this to keep us away from like literally pursuing these goals and like having this type of knowledge and like this? Okay, dude. So I don't like talking about this kind of stuff because I have a completely different viewpoint than other people about like Christianity and like all the narratives that we've been told. So like it can just get crazy, you know. But like when I hear a story like this, I see it as like, okay, so before the language division, something about humans wants to work together, you know. Exactly. And also whenever you talk to somebody that doesn't speak your language, like what makes you think that like you would want to attack them just because you don't understand them or know them? Like I think there's something way deeper than language that like humans connect on. So like when you hear that story, it's like, dude, it's a fear story. It's a narrative. Like it's literally you're telling me what I should think, what I should believe, all these little puzzle pieces and everything. When in reality, like when you actually live life and you think for yourself, you're like, dude, this story doesn't make any sense. You know, it's a cool story. It's an interesting story. I think that's just like it's some sort of mythology to it.
Exactly. That's what it is. Right now, like religion is what like the anthropomorphic but this is what I'm gathering from like just the beginning of Infinity Fabric of Reality, because those are books about quantum theory, which is basically the foundation of what is science fiction and all of that. So quantum theory kind of has like a not serious term, but it actually is a scientific field of study.
100%.
But they actually are questioning what makes reality, what makes us think and feel the way we feel. Like it's basically theories, but on a quantum level, like the theory of theories of why theories should even be theories and how it progressed. And you realize that theory is the only thing that creates reality and progress, right?
Thank you.
Because I have to theorize about how something works and then try to reverse engineer it and then apply it in other realms and test my theories out. And then that's how we gain new levels of knowledge. Right? Yeah. The theory of relativity is how it has been applied to every aspect of actual reality, to where it allows computing, to where it allows us to map galaxies, to where it allows us to know what time is. It allows us to, you know what I mean? Just the theory of relativity allows us to map out space-time theories and understand computing, and that's why I was able to create computers and shit. Like people don't really understand what that one theory, and the theory is flawed, but it's that powerful. So once we gain the superior theory to the theory of relativity, like a quantum theory of relativity that explains how reality actually relates to itself, then we can control reality at a quantum level, at a microscopic, minuscule like. You understand, man? And Einstein, that was within the last 100 years. That one theory, bro, unlocked everything.
That's crazy.
Like we accelerated over the next 50 years after that. It was computers, factory, everything technological, digital, everything was made. Microchips started getting smaller and smaller and smaller. Because we started figuring out how to compute more power relative to the size. And so we were able to pack more knowledge and power into smaller and smaller sizes, right? So we're going to be able to fit reality in smaller and smaller sizes. The world is not going to seem so big. The universe is not going to seem so big. It'll be like the marbles they were shooting at the end of Men in Black.
Yeah.
You ever saw Men in Black? And they were spanning out, and they showed like the Earth, then they showed like the solar system, then it showed like a galaxy, then it showed boom, boom, and then when it stopped, it was all marbles in the alien's hands, and he put it all in the bag.
That's crazy.
You know what I'm saying? He had a bunch of galaxies inside of marbles, and he was just.
Yeah, that's crazy, bro. I got a lot of respect, and I also feel bad for your brain, like for your mind. What you're putting me through, like in the last, couple minutes or whatever, like to imagine that that's how you've been operating, but then again, you've probably spent your entire life like mentally preparing, for that. But like,
it felt like that now, to be honest, like now that the AI has come in, now I feel like, okay, this is why I'm like this. Yes, but it's been very hard to like function inside of society the way that I am.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying?
100%.
Like I'm like everywhere.
Yeah. I would relate to you like 100% on that. I wouldn't let you stand alone in that, in that statement. And then also, it's like this feeling of like, you look at society and you're like, everything is so simple, so you think you're like above it, but then, you're not able to operate in it to prove that you're above it. So then you have this like kind of like backwards, like, I know I can do this. I know I can be better than like, these rules that have been set, but it's like, because in reality, we've been waiting for the real rules to be created, that like people's minds aren't able to like really open up to yet, and truthfully, I think that that's going to be our job, getting people getting people's like minds to like literally be able to like take this information in. And the reason why is because going back to like the alien thing, this is my beliefs. There's I don't know if you got into like any channeling content, but one of the things that one of the entities spoke through a person was the reason why the government can't just like completely, or maybe this was from the government, honestly, like some sort of reporter or journalist or whatever. I forget the source, but it talked about how like the reason why they can't disclose like completely the entire information, people will literally start killing themselves because they don't know how to like, people have lived in like the Judeo-Christian like worldview. They lived in the materialistic worldview for so long. And why would anybody need to know this information, like quantum stuff, like, you know, oh, it's just science stuff. Like I leave it to somebody else, but it's like, dude, this is the world that you live in. And you weren't taught this in school, and you should have been. So it's on you to understand like the instructions for life and the rules of life. And it's on you to like learn this. When I realized that I couldn't defend my beliefs, this was like a year, 2 years ago, everything that I believed being grown up in a Christian household, and about the world and like science and stuff, when I couldn't even defend my own beliefs, that's when I realized I was like, dude, what am I doing? And that's what started the journey of like doing my own research and everything. And then once you start doing your research, like, and that's the blessing of the internet. Like there's so much stuff out there that you could learn about our world that it's like literally nobody is stopping you other than, I wouldn't even say yourself, because like your mind hasn't been opened, you know, to something like that. So I feel very grateful to be running alongside, you know, people like you that like really see the world and understand, like it's the perfect intersection of, like I said earlier, psychology, philosophy, real world, you know, operating technology, and like everything just kind of gets enclosed. And then also just like morals and ethics. I feel bad for the guys that are like, I mean, they probably love it. The guys that are like sitting right now in those groups, on those forums, trying to figure this shit out. Like, dude, that's crazy to be thinking, what direction are we going to let this go? Like we as consumers and like as builders are, you know, basically collecting everything that's being given and trying to make something of ourselves for our lives. Can you imagine being, you know, a world leader right now and this shit drops on your plate? You know, I couldn't imagine.
If I'm a leader, honestly, they're going to try to conserve power.
Yeah,
because
that's
like,
what
like we cannot let this out. Like this is crazy.
Right.
Like so they're gonna fear monger as much as possible. Anything that I've seen from mainstream media, they're talking about, oh, I asked chat to do is they give you basic ass prompt shit, and then they tell you this is gonna come for your job, this is gonna ruin everything, this is gonna be dangerous, people gonna be deep faking, people gonna be scamming. Of course. Of course they are. Of course. Well, when we went to factories and shit, yes, some farmers went out of business. Yes, some families' lives were ravaged. Like some people who didn't adapt fast enough, it was messed up. I'm not saying that's acceptable. I'm saying we've been going through this now for 100 years. Don't you think it's about time that we figured out how people can transition and figure out how to adapt without being displaced? But if you're resistant, I don't know what to tell you. That's just the law. The law says if you don't evolve, you die. That it's not who's the smartest. It's not who's the strongest. It's just the ones who can change. It's just the ones who are willing to change the most. Whoever is willing to change the fastest and the most, they're who live. There's no reason for peacocks to have beat dodos and certain types of eagles and shit. They were bigger, smarter animals, blah, 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 blah. Peacocks can't hardly fly. No, but the peacock evolved in a way to where they want to keep mating because the male developed the feathers and the woman was attracted to the feathers. And so they just kept breeding and survived. That's it. They just kept themselves in a way to where they kept breeding and surviving. It wasn't that they were so smart and so much better than all the other species. They just were willing to change. That's it. That's it. So if you don't want to change with something that's going to be an essential part of your life, like social media is just vanity shit. That's just a way to market. And look how much that changed our lives. Just being able for us to market to each other.
Yes.
Our online persona. That's why it's fucking with people's psyche, because do you understand, like, our reality now is built in two separate worlds. Like there's a digital avatar in yourself. The AI is the next step to merge the worlds.
Love it. That's incredible, man. And then like you have to think about it. It's like, okay, so the most important question for people that don't want to change, don't want to evolve, don't want to embrace this technology, the most important question that you need to be asking yourself by yourself in like a quiet room in like a solemn moment is why? Why do I not want this? Why do I not want to change? And that'll start your inner journey of like exactly what he said. Like it literally, it evolve or die. It's here. It's already here. You have to keep up with how the world is working. If we were in a war zone tomorrow, if everything around you was like buildings down and you wanted to continue living life exactly as you're doing it now, then you don't have a choice. What makes you think you have a choice now? Like maybe it'll seem like an illusion of a choice, but like every single person knows where that path will lead. I don't know how you could stay ignorant to that fact when everybody knows what thinking you have a choice to make a decision on something that's already here and that's going to change the future. Like you don't have a fucking choice, dude.
You don't have a choice. And that's what I think people, like you said, it's the illusion of choice. People are thinking that they're making choices. You are subconsciously, you are making choices. And that's how your reality is manifesting the way it's manifesting. But you do still have to operate inside the objective reality that we're all agreeing on to create, right? The reality that's created is not just based on you. It's based on with all of us. So you can't create your reality, but you got to exist inside these parameters.
Yes.
So the new parameter, the new paradigm shift is AI. Yes. That's your new reality. Just like if you didn't buy, everybody who was slow to get on the internet, they were gone. That business, everything they built, done. Doesn't matter if we built it with relationships and knocking on doors. That was then. This is now. Okay. So you writing it yourself, you taking too long, you moving slow. That was then. This is now. Either you're going to learn how to prompt or you're going to get replaced.
Yeah.
Either you're going to know how to build with the APIs and build stuff on top of APIs and learn how to manipulate language models and combine different tools to create new paradigms and new ways of creating. Either you're going to combine creations to create or you perish. Because that's our major function anyway. We were created in the image of God anyway, right? What did he do? He created. That's all he did. He just created shit. That's all he did was keep creating. That's it.
Yeah.
So either you're gonna keep creating or you're gonna just get stagnant. So you can't sit and hide in your cubicle for the next 20 years and hope that you can make it out to retirement. That's done.
Yeah. Well, like, what do you mean I need to keep creating? You're telling me that I can't wake up and do the same thing I do every single morning until I transport myself into my car, enjoy the brain dead time of just like going unconscious and getting out of the zone, getting to, my place of work and doing the same thing exactly every single day. What people don't realize is you're creating stuff on the job, but like your brain hasn't like clicked that yet. You're always constantly creating something, but like you've been creating for somebody else because like the thing that I cannot stand the most about this whole AI and like I realized it just now because my expectations of like how this podcast was going to go and how it went is I love AI and I plan on using it for my life, but I realized that I can't engage with this technology without dealing with all the narratives. God, future, dystopian, fear-mongering, world leaders, like all this stuff. When it came out, I was like, oh, hell yeah, dude, I'm running with this shit and I'm just going to make so much fucking noise. It's going to be crazy, But now it's like, dude, you have to think about like the ethical, the moral, and then philosophical, psychological, like everything, And I guess it just kind of comes with the territory, but that's what I'm saying. Like, it sucks, dude, Yeah,
it does, but that's why it's powerful. Because we got to talk about it in a spiritual, like people are talking about, is this right? Like for real, people are like usually a technological breakthrough. You're like, yeah, wow, this would be great. The internet, or you have an opinion like the internet's not going to work. I could just get a phone book. But for you to be like, for people to be scared and like, is this right?
Yeah.
Now you know we on to something. This is the technology.
Yeah.
I'm honestly shocked. I thought this would be the last one. I thought they would do
And
AR, VR, then eventually AI, because AI is what brings everything together. Because
you
once
got
you
it.
put AI in, everything accelerates.
You got it.
So I just thought that they would take it like that. Like you can tell even Microsoft and everybody thought it was going to be, because they, like the people who came up with the fucking AI wasn't even taking it like Google, you could tell they weren't prepared, and they're the one who came up with the fucking foundation for the AI. And even they weren't, like, they were like, what the fuck? Like they released it, like they were like, what the fuck?
That's crazy.
They can't believe it. I'm telling you, we're on a new timeline now.
Yes.
I don't know what's gonna happen. I don't know what's gonna happen.
It's gonna be good, bro.
I was thinking this was gonna be some 20 years from now type shit. I would be an old man. Maybe my son will start seeing the crazy shit. By the time I'm in the old folks' home, I might start seeing like, oh, this is cool. Right now, holy wow. They might have shifted human evolution by 100 years just by releasing this shit 20 years earlier. Like this is, I'm telling you, this has happened throughout history. If you go back and look, the ideas for we could have had computers in the 1500s, but the church and stuff came like before the Renaissance happened. The church came in and stifled knowledge for like 200 or 300 years, and after all of that, then we had the Renaissance, right? But and so we've been in a continuing renaissance since then. Like all of human advancement has really taken place in like the last 600 years. Like for real. Like in the last 600 years, we've like been equivalent to like 100,000 years of our existence. So, but that's what they're trying to do right now. They want to control. They want to put a break on this shit. Cause we about to jump. Like this is a jump.
You got it. Yeah. I'm getting what you're saying. Yeah, you're completely
know what I mean?
right.
Like they slowed us down. Like if we would have had computers 500 years ago, we would have jumped right now. We'd be living in a reality that's 5,000 years in the future, easy.
Yeah,
we'd already be on Mars and shit. That'd have been done. We can't have no more setbacks like that. We can't have this is our chance to catch the fuck up, right? Yeah. We cannot have people scared and want to give control of it to the elites because they gonna press us down and shoot off to Mars and leave us. Like we can't have it. We need it democratized. We need everybody contributing, and we need everybody scared of it, because then if we can all feel like this is our common enemy, then we can all come together to control it and use it for our benefit.
Yeah.
Right? That needs to be the end game. The end game needs to be, if we don't all come together and put our petty shit to the side, the AI will run us over and take over. So we all need to be on the same board and agree that, okay, we're going to use the AI in a way that accelerates us all, because we can create unlimited resources if we actually master the AI. So then there's no reason for us to have these petty squabbles. We're dealing with God shit now. Like we need to leave this human germ flesh shit alone. Like, okay, you can believe what you want to believe. If you want to go do that shit, go do that shit. Let's go here now. We'll find a planet for you to colonize, and everybody who think like you can stay on that planet. Whatever. We can do our segregation and our racism on a fucking universal level. But let's get the fuck off of this though. Right? Let's just get off of this. Come on. Let's go.
Bro, dude. You're on another fucking level, dude. Honestly, like, and I'm not saying like it's like putting you on a pedestal and everything. I appreciate the fuck out of where you are right now, dude. And to know that it's only taken you a couple months to like get to this place, like of understanding and like vision and perspective. You're downloading so much shit into me right now. Like, I thought I was already topped out, capped out, like, on excitement and possibility for life and how much my mind has shifted for what's possible in my life. Like, this is only, and now it makes me realize that this is an infinite road, I thought I was at like my physical capacity to like feel excitement for this. And now I realize like I actually have to remove every single limitation that I ever thought was there, because exactly what you're talking about. I felt a little crazy, like not on a personal level, but like on a, like societal, cultural, like communal level of diving into the stuff that I've been diving into the last couple months, aside from AI, like the spirituality kick that I've been
Right.
telling you. Like I've been getting into some really, really like if people look at it, it's like, bro, like that's crazy. Like you're going off your rocker. But you just made me realize that like if in 20 years we're gonna be talking about our government, whether we're gonna be on the same level as that, of flying off to Mars, or if we're gonna get squashed and let them do that, the reality is still going to stay the same. Like we will know about aliens, we will know about quantum theory, we will know about all these things, and it's like we'll look back at today and be like, why weren't you studying that? Oh, because everybody told me like it was crazy and this and
Right.
this. And now I'm realizing like, dude, it's everybody's fucking responsibility. So you cannot be concerned, about the stuff that you're diving into and the stuff that you're learning and picking up. And honestly, the best way to look at it is if you are spending your day reading, learning material that is helping you to conform with modern day as society is right now, whether that's be, what people think about you or keeping up with, people this year, buying the car, this, that. Dude, every action that you are taking before, it would have like a 5x, negative return with opportunity cost.
Mm-hmm.
Dude, the negative return right now is probably like that 5 is probably like 20,000.
Right.
So everything that you're doing to like better your life right now, instead of in 5 years, 10 years with like learning about AI, learning about like how to open your mind up to embrace everything that's coming, everything that you're spending time doing today to take care of life and all that stuff. And we still have to take care of life, obviously, like nobody's, completely revolutionizing their life. But I truthfully believe the ROI, the negative ROI on it, like for opportunity cost, is like so fucking ginormous. That's why people like me and people like you are literally allowing this to change our thinking, our mindset, our beliefs, our attitudes, worldviews, literally identity, because we realize that it's like you can't prepare for this like back when we were preparing for stuff, like this is yeah. So honestly, I was looking at you, I was like, dude, where's the rush, man? We got time. But now you got me fucking sitting here and thinking like, dude, we don't have it. It's not that we don't have time, but the more efficient that we are now, because I don't like living in a state of like fear, anxiety, like
Exactly.
you don't operate like that. Like I believe we are where we are supposed to be. I believe we're on the timeline that we're supposed to be. Like we created this. I truthfully believe as like a collective conscious. I personally believe that this is going to end in good as long as we stick together, like we're doing, you and I right now, sharing our beliefs, sharing our feelings. And then if we as a society and culture can come together and not rely on like, leaders and all these people to like do that for us, like, my governor goes meets with your governor, that means our states are good, or like, what the fuck? Like this is the dumbest shit, and when we can actually on a spiritual level, like this union and community, like, dude, it changes things like in the spirit realm that we're talking about, and like on the quantum level and all those things. So that's my belief about, everything that's going to happen in the future. But now I have, this fire, dude, like that I already have, but now it's like, fuck, dude, like that's a lot of anxiety you just give me.
I know, right? It is kind of anxiety inducing. So I think we can all just try to take it one step at a time, but keep going in the same direction. To be honest with you, this conversation has helped me redial in a little bit and kind of flesh out my thinking by talking. Yeah. This is the first time I've really been able to go deep into it with somebody who's in the same realm. Because mostly I'm just trying to talk to people to understand what I'm saying about AI, just to get them to like kind of use it, just to kind of like be like, hey, why don't you try it out? Or do like, you know what I mean? Yeah. Because I'm thinking everybody's in it. They say they got 100 million users, but I think maybe 100 million people have tried to type on it a little bit, but they not like, let me try to fucking create religions and shit with it. So, yeah. So, I would say this was, I mean, I love talking to you, bro. You're so positive, and you're such a good, like, you're one of those people who know how to encourage and give the right push. And when, like, if nobody else is like down for you or anything, and then it'll be a person like you who will come in and just like, hey man, I see what you're doing. You know what I mean? And that'll be enough to make you just keep going. just to keep
Yeah.
trying to fight, just to keep trying to create. And I think that's the energy that we need to spread also. Like, I think with the technology, it allow us to be more human as well,
Yeah.
because because people are going to crave that, because we're going to have that efficiency side. So then we're going to crave more of it's just a balance. It's the law of equivalent exchange. As we advance more technologically, we're going to want to advance more holistically as humans, right? And so us tapping in on a mental and emotional level with other humans, as well as our power to manifest and create reality, is going to create the perfect balance, the way you could say it's nirvana or paradise or
Yeah.
all of that. We just have to
Yeah.
go through these rough periods right now,
Yeah.
and get it all out. And it might get pretty bad, but
Yeah.
on the other side, I fully believe we elevate and we evolve into something else.
100%. Yeah. Yeah, I think a lot of people believe that same, timeline and everything. So from what I know and what I believe is in 2012, or some people say 2020, the Mayans predicted that, something was going to happen in 2012. And basically what a lot of people believe is the change in Earth's density. So our planet moved from third density to fourth density. And what that means, like my understanding of what that means is, this is what they say too. It's faster, light vibrates at a faster pace, and everything is made of light. Like once you get down to the smallest, thing, it's light. So what that means is our thoughts, they end up manifesting much more. So if you're negative, then you manifest much more negativity into your life, if you're positive, more, positive things into your life. So basically, you hear it all the time. It's like, dude, the days are going by quicker, this, like same exact stuff everybody is saying. And then you just look around, there's just been such weird occurrences, such weird anomalies, that like, truthfully, I believe that this, one, I believe we all chose, well, I don't know about everybody, but most of us chose to be here. Two, I believe this came out at literally the perfect time, because like we plan to be here. Like I plan to be 30 years old. I plan to like live my life the way that I did, and learn the lessons that I did, just so I would be prepared for all of this. And exactly like you said, like that encouraging thing, because a lot of people are not prepared for this. And then it's going to be helping people deal with that and grow and evolve and everything. So I think we're like honestly about to go on like the wildest, ride ever. And I really feel for people that like have a negative, expectation. Like, dude, I'm fully ready for the negative as I am for the positive. But like, I also understand that the more I fill my mind up with the positive, the more I help the collective conscious have, like if somebody did a vote right now, like, okay, we're going to screw the government, screw the countries, this, like every single person on earth, you cast a vote. What do you think is going to be the current state of 2025, 2030, state of AI and everything? And whatever the majority said, that ended up happening. Like that's how I understand and believe, our world to work.
Right.
So like the news will tell us, oh yeah, everybody keeps to themselves, everybody hates each other, everybody's so egotistical. And then you see that, and then your confirmation bias, your RAS, your reticular activating syndrome, I think it's syndrome. System. Yeah. Thank you. So your brain, there's so much shit. There's so much millions of bytes of information that you can process, and your brain only processes so many things. So it through evolution,
Overload.
the things to pay attention to. The whole red car, you buy a red car, you see a red car, like on a good day, you're having good thoughts. They start creating more good thoughts, more positive vibes. Like it's seeping from your like being. People treat you different. Like I've confirmed this so many times in my life. It's like insane. You know what I mean? So like understanding that, I try to keep, to live in like the positive view of the future, and not just live there like in a mental space, but like live there by vocalizing it like I am right now, and like by building and using my hands to like not just expect somebody to do it, but like to be a big contributor person in that. And I think God, spirit, whatever you believe, I think that looks down on people like this with intent and desire and will, to do good and positive and for the service of others. I think that's what enables people like that.
Exactly. It conspires to work for you.
Yeah, and that's
It wants to work in harmony with you. So if you move in that way, it's gonna go your way.
yeah. See, I love that because you reading the Kabbalion and like diving into that stuff, bro. Like we connect on so much on a much deeper level that I think either of us could even like really even start to think about right now. You know, so maybe
Yeah,
like in the
it
future.
just it's like a perfect storm, to be real.
Yeah,
And I just want to ride the wave all the way. Like I feel like this is like it. Like this
yeah,
is the tribulation, the revelation, the everything. This is
yeah,
it.
yeah,
Like
100%.
it's here.
Yeah.
So
One thing I do want to say, just because we've been talking about all this stuff, I think we've done through this entire thing. I think we've done a great, a very interesting and unique like perspective into all this that I think like normal people would kind of think about it, and less from like a scientific background. You know, how you said like this is how you understand reality. You go to Fiverr because that guy understands reality like this. We understand reality in a way that's like super relatable to like normal people. You know what I mean?
right.
Not everybody goes to school. Not everybody understands like the deep science and will be able to like download that in the same way. So one thing I do want to bring up: a lot of people believe in the end times. A lot of people grew up Christian. I can't prove it, but this is my belief. I would research. I would look into end times fallacy because I believe, and a lot of people believe that this was disproved, the whole rapture, the whole tribulation, the whole revelations, all that stuff. Sorry, bro, I should have asked if you believed it because I don't want to just start throwing it out there. But this is what I believe. It was disproved like 30 to 40 years ago, and it continues to be in our popular mainstream culture. They made 3 different movie series, Left Behind, and like 2 other
Yeah, I
movies.
saw that. Mhm.
Bro, it's just another fucking thing, dude. It's just
It's
another
scary.
name. Yeah, and look how people. So the reason I bring all that up is not to be like, like, hey guys, doesn't it? I'm just saying like that's going to be a big block for a lot of people based on everything that we said. That's going to be a big block for a lot of people. So like, this is me saying like, do your research, dig into it, jump in, see what you find, and let that help you instead of just completely closing off and be like, oh, everything they said was cool, but like, unfortunately, this whole, end times rapture thing, like I'm so strong in it. And like, trust me, I was too, I'm so strong in it. Like whatever they're saying, it sounds like a great story, but like, that's not going to happen, dude. We're dead in like 3 years or whatever.
Exactly.
Like,
That's what it's crazy. My I was actually raised a Jehovah Witness until I was like in high school and stuff. But they believed the world was going to end in 1976, and they had a lot of credibility before 1976. When
yeah,
1976 happened and the world didn't end, that's when Jehovah Witnesses became the butt of all the jokes. But they had a lot of people scared and fearful. My mom grew up thinking that she only had till 1976 to live, so she planned her whole life to die while she was going to be in high school, right?
yeah,
So is those type of like religion that's what I told you, that's what put us behind 500 years, like believing this is the end times. Prophecy is always going to be a fallacy because it cannot encapsulate the how many variables will change through human intervention. Like our creative energy is boundless and unlimited. So you cannot prophesy over what will happen to us. They probably thought the Black Plague was the end of times. They probably thought the Ice Age was the end of times. They probably thought the Spanish flu and influenza, and they probably thought all of these diseases. They probably thought World War I was World War II. Everybody always thinks it's the end of times, but that's just that limiting thing of thinking you're special. Is actually the fact that we think we're special is what's holding us back. Because we're relying on supernatural shit to work in our favor and hope for luck instead of actually creating and controlling reality, right? If we saw that the only way we survived is not because we prayed for rain, it's because cumulus clouds formed over bodies of water and evaporation went to the cloud, and then that's what caused rain on the fucking ground. Once we figured that out, guess what? We stopped praying the rain. So just like if we figure out the key to immortality and we figure out it's this one gene that causes us to age and breaks down all the other ones, and then we learn how to manipulate that gene, you're going to stop praying for God to save your spouse or whatever. Your ass going to go to work and try to make sure your ass can avoid the gene therapy, right? So we need to get off that.
Yeah, sorry for laughing, bro. That was just beautiful, dude. Like, fuck, I love when you get into it, dude. I love when you get that was crazy. The man, dude, sorry.
Listen, we gotta save stuff for another episodes. Like,
yeah,
but we need to do this at least once a week, bro. We already say this, but you gotta come on at least once a week, bro.
yeah, 100%. Let's do this because this is going to be good for you on your journey. This is going to be good for me on my journey.
I need to be able to flesh out my ideas and what I'm thinking, and I just do it better when I'm talking to someone else and they giving me feedback instead of me being like cocooned in my mind. As you could tell, like, this is all shit that I've been like contemplating and circling, but it's like, how the hell, who do I talk to about this shit? Like,
yeah. Let's make an agreement, a commitment. This will be like our accountability right here. You know, something kind of like the North Star, you know, throughout the week.
right.
And it doesn't have to be as intense and serious. And, you know, this could have been like a great foundation and everything.
Right.
Obviously, as we continue, then it's going to be more talking about tools and
Exactly.
obviously, like we love like the, you know, like philosophical and everything conversation because it's so real. And then again, we haven't been able to. I feel lucky because yesterday I had a friend over that like maybe I mentioned like I indoctrinated him like a couple weeks ago, like on accident, just talking about like stuff that I'm passionate about. And he's my friend that I could talk about like whatever. He's like kind of like a more quieter dude, like very perceptive, you know, and like you could just talk about like whatever. And as I did that, and I realized like I accidentally indoctrinated him because like as I'm sharing all this information and he's like, he takes everything in because that's our relationship. And then he like starts asking questions and I was like, you know, I was like, whoa, like this guy's checking it out on his own and everything. So I think that's the way to do it. Like, don't try to convince people, but like show people how much it's changed, you know, and then people will like catch that, you know, that bug. But yeah, and then also like other people that I talk to and everything, it's nice because I can share clips from this and this is real. This is tangible, you know, and especially like with editing and all those things, like I think it's the start of something truthfully incredible. But yeah, even like bringing people on here, having more people, like I'm already thinking about one guy, like, and he's so, you know,
hey, let's do it. Like, let's go all the way. Like I'm like right now, I'm in this mode, especially like after we did Kabbalion. Like, I'm gonna tell you some stories as we go more into the podcast, but it's been a lot of crazy shit happening to me just in my personal life as far as getting confirmation on just how powerful the mind really is. It's been kind of scary.
Bro,
right?
Me too.
Because it's scary because I can look back on my life and be like, I was in danger the whole time because I didn't have control of my mind.
Okay.
Like, I could have been a victim of any circumstance because I wasn't controlling the most powerful weapon in the universe, which is the human subconscious.
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
That's the most powerful, like, so, but let me not go into another tangent. We're going to save this. I know schedules fluctuate and stuff, but do you think Saturdays will be good for you or?
Let's talk about it in the DMs. Yeah, I think Saturday probably. Yeah, and then we'll just figure out a time, right? And then it does. Yeah, let's just plan for Saturdays. And then if we need to move it around, like, you know, we can't. Right.
Okay, that'll work.
Yes, like we're pretty flexible with this kind of stuff. Dude, I'm just ready to I'm about to go on a walk and just like soak and marinate on this stuff. I did want to say one thing. I signed up for a bunch of newsletters. I follow a bunch of AI creators. You can't find content like this, like right now. You know, like you cannot. Like I don't know, like why nobody sees it like this or whatever. And everything is just so boring. Oh, you know what it is? I don't think anybody that's like truthfully passionate about AI and like is allowing AI to be life-changing in their life. I think it's just the people that see a money grabbing opportunity, marketers,
marketers. Yep.
Yeah. People that are interested, want to dip their toes into it, like more power to them, you know, like more exposure. Sure. But like, dude, there's going to come there. Like, I think a lot of people that are asleep right now in society and don't know like what they're doing, like, they just need to catch the bug that we have, and it's going to completely just transform everything about them. I think so. Yeah.
Exactly. I think this is transformative. This was a good introduction to, I think, a different aspect to a higher understanding of the end game that we're going to here, of not the fear mongering, but a different aspect of the fear mongering. Like the fear mongering goes to extremes to tell you how it's doom and gloom. I think we're talking more about the tangible possibilities that will be within our grasp very soon and into the future, right?
So
So if you want to, go ahead.
infinite inspiration, something along those lines.
Yes, infinite inspiration. This is the beginning of an infinite creative process where we all can participate. We all can create communities. We all can create brands and
Yes. Yeah.
multiverses, right? And multiverses of ourselves, and really enjoy a life and not equate life to work and enjoyment. Separate
Yeah.
it, right? Like you
Yeah.
work here to enjoy, you work to enjoy. They can be symbiotic, and you
Yes.
can work and enjoy and create your life while you're working while you're creating, and your life is unfolding, and every day is a new adventure to a new creation and a new advancement.
Yeah. So what you just said, I do want to make a note. A large percent of the society will listen to like the last thing that you said, enjoyment and create at work being the same thing, and will not understand it. I think that's where in the current state, people like you and people like me who make money doing what they love to do, like, dude, that shit blew my mind when I got to the point in life where I started making money doing what I love to do. And then I see other people at this level. A lot of people, like, after remote work, creator economy, social media, the growth of the internet, like, this has been okay. Like in the 90s and the 2000s, like, that's the mindset that you're talking about, where like work and enjoyment are two different things. We are literally entering into a new era, and this is me telling you that you need to like start believing this, that yes, work and enjoyment will be symbiotic, exactly like you said, and even more. It's already happening right now, and like everybody needs to catch up with that. Like I can understand people that are negative and negative thinking. It's like, oh, like I can't even fathom that. I used to be like that too, but like it is the next step for everybody, like you said.
Definitely.
Yeah.
Definitely. And so with that, we're going to leave you with that paradigm shift, let you digest it all. You'll catch us next week. Once again, it's Prompt Gods. I'm your guy, Selvian. My guy, Dima. We holla at you.
Appreciate it. Good one. See you, man.